How's it going out there, internet? Hope everybody's doing well today. It is March 19th, 2026 for recording purposes only. The message is timeless. It could be past, present, or future energy. It could be about you. It could be about somebody you know. It could be about a family member. It could not even be about you at all. And you're going to have to use your own discernment because you don't want to put on a shoe that doesn't fit. Do not lace the bitch up and wear it. Okay? Okay. I wanted to show you. I got 2 pages of automatic writing for March 19th, 2026. And it's going to be a conspiracy theory reading today, folks, for entertainment purposes only. We're going to say that today, okay? We have hit the minute mark almost. We're a little bit early. What the hell? Welcome in, witches, bitches, twats, and thoughts. I'm Black Betty, and I'm Karma's right hand. All right, you guys, this is the Underdog Ministry. Thank you for joining me. I've got a doozy of a download for y'all today. like they might come get me and put me in a little white huggy jacket and put me in a rubber room after I read this reading today, y'all. Shit, it's gonna be one. Okay, so let me get a sip of water and then I'm gonna get into it for you. Because usually we're minding our business over here, but let's open the circle. Dear God, Holy Spirit, benevolent beings of divine knowledge and grace, please be with me as I channel this message here today. Please make it clear, true, and concise, and let it contain accurate information and absolutely no lies. No matter how outlandish that it seems, let me reach the ears that it needs. Okay? Archangel Michael, please surround me with your wings of light and cut off all energetic projections that are not for my highest timeline. Amen. All right, let's get into this. So for March 19th, 2026, you guys download. Today is the 6-year anniversary of the COVID quarantine lockdown. Guys, remember where we were 6 years ago today? Because I sure fucking do. Okay, this has been a psyop the entire time, covering sweeping international investigations up, aka the Epstein files. We had to be out of the way. Essential workers that kept the country going were essentially on the front lines, enlisted in a biological combat against their will. Forced vaccines introduced to us was an engineered experiment that will later be revealed to be like the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Basically, bitches, the government's done this shit before. The US and other countries forcing vaccines is considered medical advice. This should be viewed as the government using oppressed classes as guinea pigs. Our disease rates are going to skyrocket. Everything that is long-term, terminal, or chronic illness is going to go through the roof. They failed to take mental control over humanity, and the monopoly game is over. You guys, fucking download I got today. I got chills. I don't even know. I should just probably shut off, but I'm not gonna, because you know that's not what I do. So let's shake up the dice and get into this conspiracy theory reading today, shall we? All right. Shake them up, shake them. I'm hearing fucking bastard. You fucking bastard. And it has absolutely nothing to do with what I'm looking at on the dice. Somebody's fucked. Somebody big. Somebody high up. Somebody we're not supposed to know about. Somebody that has got top security clearance. Something's going to leak within the next week. And it's not going to have anything to do with what's already leaked. It's going to be some new shit. And we're going to be like, you got to be kidding me. How can it get any worse? It's going to get worse. But wait, there's more. Vision. Somebody's going to have a vision, or somebody's vision is being affected. That could be another side effect of things that could happen, is people's vision could be affected. Past, present, or future. Wow. Artery. Artery. Vision. Artery. Somebody's going to have, what is it called when you, your eye, you get the, a bloodshot eye, but it's like a blood vessel bursts in your eye and it turns all red into the whites. Like you've got, like when somebody gets punched and it pops the blood vessels, like their whole white of their eye will go red. Somebody might have something funky with their vision because they got socked. Bait. Bait. Somebody's trying to bait somebody out. Somebody used another person as bait in the past. I'm getting somebody having an aneurysm. The blood vessels in their eyes is going to be a warning there's something going on and they're not going to pay attention to it. There's somebody's going to have an aneurysm. All right. This is another interesting word, and only bird people are going to know. Kestrel. Kestrel. It's a bird of prey. Somebody might be a falconer. That's why they may have to have live bait. Rats. R-A-T-S. There it is there. Okay, somebody might actually be working with birds of prey. They may be someone that like trains flight birds to come back. Somebody might work with rehabilitating wild animals. No vowels. Nothing there. Druid. What? No, I don't know. That's 2 U's. I have everything but the D. Don't even make fun of that, y'all. Shh, shh. I hear your nasty minds. Don't go there. Everything but the D. Dry. Somebody's going through a dry spell. Can I have a word? Come on, Vanna, give me a vowel. B-U-Y, buy. Can I buy a vowel, please? Did I just ask Vanna for a fucking vowel and the word was buy? Can I buy a vowel, Vanna? All right, we've got all the words out of the dice. Vision, past, artery, bait, kestrel, rats, dry, and buy, like purchase. All right, and then we have a whopper of a download on the 6-year anniversary of the COVID-19 lockdown, that it was a big psyop that was covering the international investigation of the Epstein files. Okay, I don't know where I get this shit, but I just sit down and I start writing in the morning with my coffee, and boom, we have a reading, folks. So give me an overall energy, please, and thank you, Holy Spirit. Most High God, give me a overall. Empress in reverse. Lack of creativity, infertile, barren. Somebody that is karmic in nature. It should be a divine feminine, but we've got maybe somebody who operates out of their lower nature, or somebody that is maybe losing their foothold of power. Let's get farther into it. All right. So I think that what I'm getting here is the loss of control over children Empress in reverse is a mother in reverse, somebody who can't control their passel, their brood. Okay, this is also somebody who does not operate out of care or concern for other people. King of Wands in the reverse is the first card out. So our overall energy is basically a lack of fertility, basically a karmic, not necessarily karmic. I'm going to say blocked divine feminine energy, period. And then we have problems with business, broken promises, forceful, domineering, disrespectful, impulsive, bad temper, failed to control humanity. So this Empress in reverse, our overall energy is the loss of control over all of humanity, like citizens as children. Then we have the Emperor in reverse in the Tower that just flew out together. Well, so the domination, the domineering energy, domination, excessively controlling, big problems. Okay. I'm getting a visual right now that can help everybody kind of understand the energy itself. You've seen videos where they get the watermelon and they put as many rubber bands around the watermelon as they can because the rubber bands stretch, right? But eventually, collectively, the tension on those rubber bands becomes so much, the fucking watermelon ruptures. Big mess. That's what's happening here. Excessively tight controls, rigidity. This is beyond the rules of the game. This is some sort of, I'm going to say, emergency restrictions, essential workers, masking, the vaccines against your will, children having to go to school online, back and forth, in and out of the office. All of these excessive controls cause the problems with business. Okay? It was too much. The bubble is going to pop or has already ruptured. The fucking watermelon is done. The devil just flew out. Now, I did say that we were basically enlisted against our will in a combat, a spiritual combat. This excessive control is based in the satanic cult, that they are well documented in participating in. This is nothing new. However, this is a conspiracy theory and for entertainment purposes only, because I don't want to die tonight. Okay. All right. So this thought was to keep everybody under such control, such tight reins, such rules and restrictions that they were dependent on those making the rules. But there has been something that is leaked, a breakthrough, a breakout, something, a breakout. Forced vaccines introduced us to an engineered experiment that will later be revealed to be like the Tuskegee syphilis experiment. Something's breaking out. There could be a viral breakout. There could be an information breakout. This could cause physical breakouts. I'm not taking 12 cards at once. You guys see that whole big ass chunk? Let's shuffle. Okay, so here's the deal. The limitations that were put on everybody to make everybody feel small, to make everybody feel like they were not in control, not like they were victims, like they were isolated. This was a giant mental experiment as well as a physical health experiment There's going to be some sort of breakout based on these vaccines or information that breaks out for entertainment purposes only. Temperance in reverse. It's going to cause quite the stir. It's going to cause quite the stir. Whatever leaks, whatever breakout happens, whether it's a virus or whether it's information that goes viral, it's going to cause an extreme dichotomy. 8 of Cups is here. The extreme dichotomy is going to force people to have to choose sides. Going to have to walk away and let go of people. There's going to be breakups. There's going to be people trying to run away. There's going to be 8 of Wands in reverse. An attempt to meter the information, to slow it down, to postpone the chaos, to dumb it down. Give me an oracle on this. Give me a shadow. All right, so tell me about the vision, please and thank you. Tell me about the vision. Greed. So the vision, the Monopoly game is over. Greed. The bubble is busted. We're going to get it all. We're going to take it all. We're going to enslave them all. And then once we have it all, then we'll start a new game. The Hunter. Real-time download happening. Give me 2 seconds. Hunger Games is the new game. These people are going to eke every penny out of society. And once they have it all, they're going to entertain themselves by watching us take each other out. Divergence. Wasn't that part of the Hunger Games? Wasn't that one of the being divergent? I'm getting chills. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but I have goosebumps all over. This is a weird way of seeing and pitting humanity against each other. Once we have all the money, then we've won the game. But then what's the next game? Watching them all scramble against each other for survival, spring and passion. The new game is going to watch people lose their mind, lose their cool because they're isolated, they're shut up. This has been going on the entire time. Watching how people handle it, watching how people deal with cabin fever, watching how people deal with being shut in, watching how people deal with their pent up energy, passions, whether they are pursuits, whether it is a lust, whether it is mental passion, physical passion, whether it's emotional, it doesn't matter. It's forcing people to turn on each other, but in a way, it's forcing some sort of renewal here, because there are certain people that are gonna do things differently when they're forced with this energy, and it's going to precipitate something new being built here. The necropolis. Well, that is the tower. It all has to fall before it can be rebuilt. What is dead and decayed and corroded and dark and I'm getting, it's like once they've won the Monopoly game or once they have all the money, okay, there's a new game, but that means that game's over. How long have you been playing? You know how long a Monopoly game lasts? Think about how long this has been in play. And now it's dead in the water. because people are being forced into their passions. They're being forced to remember who they are. Remembrance. People are starting to realize they've been made into guinea pigs here. Reincarnation. Oh, we've seen this shit before as well. Truth is the next card. We've seen this shit before. AKA like the Tuskegee experiment. The Stanford prison experiment. That one specifically. Fuck, you give people a badge and a pretty little fucking uniform and some aviator shades and some billy clubs and guns, and what the fuck happens? All of a sudden, they're no longer your peers, they're your captors. Oh, wait. ICE? Excuse me. So let's get a little bit farther into this. Tell me about the past coming back to bite somebody in the ass. Something about an artery, something about an aneurysm, and rats. Somebody got into rat poison. Something about rat poison. King of Swords, Aries. This is a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, not Aries. I misspoke. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. This is supposed to be authority figures. This is doing the right thing. This is justice system. This could be an investigator. This could be somebody that's just trying to get all the information sorted out. There's an investigation. There's an investigation. I mean, this is an international investigation, right? So we know this could be the investigator. Tell me about the investigation itself. Hierophant. Well, there is definitely an order that things are being done. We are following all the rules, dotting our I's, crossing our T's, leaving no stone unturned, following every lead and listening to guidance from those that are higher up. This is something that is being done institutionally at an international level. There is protocol being followed here. The chain of command is being honored here. Four of Pentacles. This is being kept under wraps. It is secret, close to the vest, top secret, classified information. This is what's going to leak. Two of Swords in reverse. Can't block it, can't stop it. Queen of Pentacles. Can't block it, can't stop it. And there is ultimately somebody holding the bag. Somebody here has leverage. Somebody here has leverage. This Queen of Pentacles energy. What's the leverage? Magician. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. The great and powerful Oz. Somebody knows who the lead investigator is, who's heading the... Who is the lead on whatever this is? Whoever's pulling the strings behind the scenes. This Queen of Pentacles energy, this person, this energy of leverage. There's blackmail happening here. This is being done outside of our own system. I'm going to say that. I think that's why we can't control it. I think that's why the necropolis is here and why it's all come falling down, because people are starting to remember exactly what happened. People are starting to remember who they are, where they came from, what they're made of, what they were taught when they were growing up. And this being a puppet is not part of it. Four of Wands is here at the bottom of the deck. People remember what their foundations are. People remember what makes them stable, or when things were stable, when their lives were happy, when their homes were in good shape. Okay. So this is the biological combat, enlisted in biological combat against their will. Everybody on the front lines, aka essential workers that had to keep going out there despite there being some big old scary Queen of Cups. They had to keep taking care of everybody. Those are the people that actually cared about society. I'm going to tell you that right now. The people that fed us, the people that gave us medicine, the people that delivered food, the people that worked in the grocery stores, the people that cooked in restaurants, the people that worked in hospitals and did laundry in hospitals and scrubbed floors and all of that. Think about where were the people that were telling us we had to be inside? Were they on the front lines or did they put us on the front lines? Oh, okay. I remember there's no draft in the United States, or at least there shouldn't be. Didn't they do away with selective service a while back? Or was that reinstated during the last war? I don't remember. Four of Swords is here. Look. There's a recovery period that's happening here. Okay? A lot of people still haven't recovered. A lot of folks haven't recovered financially, emotionally, mentally, being isolated, shut out from physical contact, human contact, group events, being able to talk to each other. It forced us to do it online, which then forced what? Every bit of, here, hand over all your information to us right now, just willingly. Just give it all to us. Give it all. Give it all. Six of Swords. And now that things are getting rough, these people want to run away. King of Pentacles in the reverse, and don't want to take accountability for the fact that they took it all. The Monopoly game's over. They took it all. It's all gone. The well has run dry. There's no money left to buy anything from the rats. Something about rat bait. I'm coming back to that over and over and over again. Something about arsenic poisoning, rat bait. 10 of Wands. Man, nobody wants to take responsibility that they broke the back of society. They broke the back of society. Monopoly game is over. They failed to gain mental control over humanity, and now the bubble has popped worldwide. Not just here in the United States where I'm reading from, but worldwide. 10 of Pentacles in the reverse and the Two of Cups. Everybody's realizing it's not about money. It's about how you take care of each other. If you ain't got any money, how can you take care of each other? And who's out there taking care of who when there is no money to be had? That Queen of Cups energy, the frontline people that took care of the world. Right? Moon, Two of Pentacles, and the 10 of Swords in reverse. Without all the information, without the truth, those people still went out there and carried and made sure society stayed balanced, okay? Made sure society kept functioning. And now the 7 of Swords in the reverse is like the truth has to come out. I think I said 10 of Swords a second ago, but it's a 7 of Swords. The truth has to come out. Like, what happened to these people? Queen of Swords. The truth has to come out. Somebody has to say and do the right thing here. 4 of Cups in the reverse. There's the breakthrough. There's the leak. There's the information. Literally. We had the same run earlier. Queen of Swords, 4 Cups in the reverse. Somebody's going to say something. Somebody that has the information, has leverage, is, I believe, maybe leveraging the government here. I think we might have one big institution, Queen of Swords, against another institution, King of Swords, okay? We're going to say investigatory institutions. I'm not saying these are one people, one human being each. No, these are bigger energies than that. 3 of Pentacles in the reverse that do not work and play well with each other. Entities. Ooh, I didn't mean to say that either. Entities, I guess. These two big energies, corporations, institutions do not work and play well with each other. Four of Wands in the reverse. It's like a bad divorce. It's like a bad divorce. So whoever is leveraging this other energy, so I'm like getting government leveraging another government, or like what's the another equivalent to the CIA in another country, that like the KGB or something like that, just because I can't think of anything else, not because those are actually what's here. Specifically, that's not what's here. I'm just using those for analogies that everybody can kind of weigh. Imagine if, say, the KGB and the CIA were at each other's throats, or the Mossad and the M5 were against each other. Okay, they're supposed to be working together on an international thing, but instead they're coming up against each other here. And somebody within one of these institutions has some leverage. Well, let's get out the Masonic tarot on that one. Tell me about the leverage. U.S. and other countries forcing vaccines is considered medical advice and should be viewed as the government using the oppressed classes as guinea pigs. Like the Tuskegee syphilis experiment, where our government used black people as guinea pigs. I don't know why I'm getting rat bait. I keep getting rat bait, rat's bait. Something about decon, arsenic, slow leaching into systems. Nothing sudden that would make biological warfare. High Priestess in reverse. They don't want us to know. They don't want us to see. They don't want us to deduce. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain, the magician over here pulling the strings, playing the fucking games. There is this is not one person. These are big, bigger than one human. These are like bigger than governments in a way. Like shadow government shit. Like the shadow sides of the governments are fighting each other. Temperance. They don't want you to know. If they keep you dumbed down, it's more peaceful. It's more peaceful if the people are stupid. King of Wands in the reverse. Yeah, well, that's how you're gonna like dominate. That's how you're gonna overpower people. Absolutely. Is if they're none the wiser. Star. We don't want people to know anything enlightening. We don't want people pursuing healing paths. We want people slow, controllable. But what's the leverage? Who's being leveraged? Or is it just general? Three of Swords. So I'm getting literally there's somebody, a government system in bed with another country's government system, and it went bad. And now people are suffering because of it. Two of Swords in the reverse, Nine of Swords in the reverse. Now the job is to unblock all the pain that was caused. There's no way to undo it. You can't undo everything that was done here. This is done to the entire fucking planet, bro. Eight of Swords. The entire planet was literally put on fucking lockdown. Till they figure shit out. Two of Wands. What's on the bottom of this deck? Two of Wands. Well, what's the shit they're going to figure out? What's the shit they're going to figure out or trying to figure out? That's what's going to happen. The person with the aneurysm, they're handling a prey animal that's going out, and they're sending it out like to hunt, field hunt. the animals that this bird is going to field hunt are going to have some sort of residue. The bird is what's going to have the aneurysm. So somebody that is a falconer is going to lose one of their animals because they got an infected or a rat that's been eating rat poison. Lovers in reverse. There's a deep lack of connection, a deep lack of self-care in the world right now. Folks have stopped looking to each other for answers, and they've allowed themselves to be parented and given up so much control over their own choices through legislation and etc., that society has slowly been made to be so cognitively complacent. It's comfortable to not think. And when you think about hard things, then shit gets a little wonky. So it's kind of a conditioning that's being done, to the family unit. Lack of connection within families, that 6 feet rule. Don't enter each other's Taurus field. This is this energy. Stay away from loving each other, because that's what can end all of it. They failed to take mental control over humanity because the hearts of humanity is still too strong. Oh, shit. Message, 8 of Wands. Message delivered. The dark side failed to take mental control over humanity because our hearts took over. You can't take connection away from people without revolt. You can't take family away from people without them getting angry or disruptive or destructive. You can't just shut people's lives off and turn them into captives. And there is consequences. They may have done this to keep some big international investigation secret, but they've done damage to the family unit. They've done damage to our minds. They've done damage to our bodies, our hearts. They've experimented on us worldwide. And now it's not a far-fetched conclusion to reach, entertainment purposes only, okay? Conspiracy theory reading. It's not a far conclusion to reach that, maybe, just maybe, people that like to torture, commit cannibalism, rape, pedophilia, murder, etc., we won't go into the atrocities, might just need some more play toys. Like I said, enlisted in biological combat against their will. The country was on the front lines. Here, let me play army men with my citizens. There is a growing unrest in the powers that be. They don't trust who's cooking for them, and they shouldn't. They don't trust who shops for them, and they shouldn't. They don't trust their drivers. They don't trust even their closest confidants anymore, because they know what they've done to fuck with the minds of the many. And now it's coming back to bite them in the ass. 2 of Swords in the reverse. What goes around comes around, and this is that boomerang effect. It's the end of the standoff. And the people that thought that they controlled the game because they have all the money don't realize when you take all the money away, all the control also goes bye-bye. 2 of Wands. Did not anticipate that in reverse. That was an unanticipated consequence of us taking all the money. If there's no more money to be made, why are people going to keep making money for y'all? Just want to know. Curiouser and curiouser. for entertainment purposes only. Because you know, I'm just a dumb old girl. I'm sitting here talking out my ass. East side shit out of the west side of my neck. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. King of Pentacles in the reverse. Nobody wants to take accountability. This is the end. This is the end of the deal, the end of the business, the end of the control, the end of the leverage, the end of the movement, etc. Hermit in reverse. The isolation could only work for so long. You could only keep people captive for no reason for so long before they start to rebel. See, once you realize there's no more money to be made and you can't afford anything based on the pittance that you're getting, there's no point in continuing to put yourself through that, and then you start to go other ways. Think about the Boston Tea Party. Bitch, will dump it in a harbor. We don't got no more money to pay your damn taxes. This is how the United States became the United States to begin with. It's how the revolution began anyways. Get people so broke, so poor, so controlled by the perverse, by the people that would be monarchs, okay, that you have to leave and create a whole new system. Oh, are we at the precipice? I think we're at the precipice. Does anybody else think we're at the precipice? The bubble's going to pop. The bubble's going to pop. People are going to start getting courage. People are going to start having nothing left to lose, which is even more scary than courage. I believe that if people realize how much of a power shift that is occurring right now and how much terror the people that invited this all in to begin with because they wanted to oppress and control the masses, oh, they're fucking scared now. These motherfuckers ain't sleeping. They ain't shitting right. Guaranteed they got the bubble guts. Guaranteed they're afraid to wipe their ass with toilet paper because it might have ricin on it, right? Okay. So this is like, oh, aha moments. It's dawning on people. It's starting to occur to the oppressors that people are going to start biting back. Avarice, that there's about to be a big problem, and there are not enough of them to outnumber everybody they've oppressed. When everybody starts to realize, oh shit, I'm not getting no satisfaction out of life anymore. Why am I doing this? Why am I pursuing a dream that was taken by people in the 1950s and then we've been paying for it ever since? Goddess of light. Aha moments. Aha moments. People are starting to wake up left and fucking right. Dawn, waking up to the fact that governments hate us and that we don't work and play well with them. Governments hate each other and are fighting each other. Remember, there's entities being corporations, okay? Entities here that are supposed to be working together, supposed to be sharing, being teamed, and they are actively undercutting each other. When the oppressors start fighting each other, they're too distracted to pay attention to what we're doing here. Nature. Remember, you're relegated to not being able to do anything that you're meant to do as a human. Being outside, enjoying nature, rising up against oppression. It's going to become second nature because people are going to have nothing left to lose. What happens when you back something mean into a corner? What happens when you back something mean and rabid into a corner and make it fear for its life? Then life becomes a matter of self-defense, doesn't it? Carelessness just fell on the ground. somebody got caught slipping. Whatever was done, the powers that be have become flippant. Absolutely 100% certain that they had this in the bag, that they had control, that it had finally been accomplished, that people had been dumbed down enough to treat like cattle. Forgiveness in reverse, or forgiveness in the upright and indecision in the reverse. Wow. So here's the deal. We're going to get the story that it was a select few people that just did the wrong thing, and you've got to know that it's not the way the government does things. And please, just this is basically backed into a corner. The government is going to be backed into the corner they backed everybody else into here. This indecision in reverse, it's going to be very, very clear and concise. Okay. It's not going to be a decision to be made. It's going to just be an action that happens. I don't see something organized here. I see that there is just basically when a bubble bursts, it's a big mess, and it goes everywhere and it touches everything, and the cleanup is going to take a long time, and it's going to be sticky, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be like, oh my God, I didn't know I was part of all of this. Worry. If you sincerely are unaware that you work for a serial killer, for an example, say you're Buffalo Bill's housekeeper, okay, from Silence of the Lambs, for an example, okay, and you don't ever open the one door that he keeps locked. You don't ever go into the basement. You don't ever find the lotion in the basket, okay? You don't have anything to worry about. But then all of a sudden, Buffalo Bill's on the news, and he is wearing skin of, your next door neighbor instead of you. Your eyes are going to open. You're going to be like, oh my God, please forgive me. I had no idea I was working for such a monster. There's going to be a lot of people in world governments that are under this kind of pent up anxiety. They had no idea. Empathy in the upright and purpose in reverse. These people had no idea. And had they known, they never would have participated. Now they feel some type of way. Now they feel like they've been used against what they meant to do. These are people who stood up and took oaths of office. These are people who believe they're doing the right thing here. I mean, doctors, physicians, lawyers, etc., that believed that it was in the best interest of society for everybody to be vaccinated. So we're going to force this on every single human, not accounting for anybody with already existing illnesses, chronic illnesses, whether or not they currently have cancer, allergies, any of that, chemical sensitivities, nothing. You're just going to take it, or you can't go to school, or you can't go to work, meaning you can't survive. We're going to take your choice away from you with coercion here. This is a big mess, you guys. I don't see a lot of specific repercussions. Okay, this is not going to be one person that made one decision getting a jail sentence. This is going to be entire systems getting rewritten and new laws being written. We're going to get new people in government. We're going to see turnover rates where people have held on to these jobs like they're celebrities for life when they should have term limits, specifically to prevent shit like this. We got patients that came out in the reverse. People are done. They're tired. They're tired that their energy is being used. They're tired that their care and concern for society is being turned against them. They're sick and tired of being treated like guinea pigs. Okay? There's a measure of repercussion here that can't even be quantified. It's going to take decades to fix. Decades. But there's people out there who are worried that they were part of this. Being witness to it from the inside means that you have the tools and the positioning to be part of the initial changes to fix shit. You can implement solutions. You can leak information. You can not classified information. Let me rephrase what I just said, because that sounds like I'm asking somebody to commit espionage, and I'm not. I'm saying you can give people tools, resources, information that is out there to shift their dependence or their, I'm just going to say their current position in life. Okay, if they've been knocked down by this whole thing, I mean, it's been 6 years since we got locked down, and I believe 100% that there are people suffering from financial repercussions from that, medical repercussions from that, stress and mental health repercussions from that. People have lost their lives because of that. We've seen that. Okay, but that's also part of the intent on the entire psyop. They're going to see which direction people go. Remember, they played the Monopoly game. There's no more money. So what's the next part of the game? Let's pit everybody against each other and play team sports. We've got Yang here. So we've got divine masculine energy. This is interesting. This is how the divine masculine is going to rise. These are the people that are going to actually stand up and defend, protect, nurture, and care in a way that leads away from the puppet mastery. This is going to be direct leadership, open, honest, communicative. This is going to be firm, assertive. This is going to be direct communication. This is going to be somebody who's not afraid of confrontation, energy-wise. This is going to be the energy we see rise up. It only takes one person to trigger a domino effect. It only takes one stone to create a ripple effect in a pond. This is basically forcing humanity to heal. No place like home. I use the Wizard of Oz a lot as an analogy in this channel. Now you think about everything that Dorothy went through. Everything was dark and gray in the beginning of the movie. She was knocked out and all of a sudden transported to someplace she's never seen. Technicolor. Magic. And she is taken on a spiritual journey where she finds courage, where she finds heart, and where she finds wisdom. The Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion. Okay? Not in those orders because they didn't align with what I said in the right order. But each of them represented a different characteristic that she achieved on this spiritual journey, coming home to herself. This here is what's going to happen in humanity. We have become so separated from each other and such turned into team opponents. Everything has become a team sport. Versus. Everything's versus. And what this did, and I'm going to say it's going to take another couple of decades before the actual repercussions and the repair and the chain, like the link of the chain goes connected to this. Everybody that was born during this time period is going to be a different kind of a leader when they come of age. And people that are my age, aka Gen Xers, are actually kind of leading the way towards, and we don't want to. We don't fucking want to because we've already been doing it. But we're leading the way towards a reunification of morals, community values, a lot more live and let live than live and let die. A whole lot more um, tolerance of each other's differences, because I swear, if there was a forest fire, is it going to matter if your next door neighbor, I mean, it very well could, don't get me wrong, wears purple tennis shoes and you hate the color fucking purple tennis shoes, whatever. If they are wearing those purple tennis shoes and the house is on fire, are you going to deny them some assistance because I don't like the shoes you're wearing? Or is it you're my neighbor and I'm going to extend a hand because you're human and I wouldn't want to be in the position you're in. I could put myself in your purple motherfucking shoes. Oh. There's not a lot of common courtesy anymore. And I think that that's what's going to force this big old psyop. It's making people connect in a different way. It's making people seek out like-minded individuals, like-hearted and like-souled individuals for real connection, for real community. And it doesn't necessarily have to be within physical proximity anymore because we have the internet. So the hive mindset, the herd mentality that has been created by, I'm going to say, eons of government intervention. Okay. We have been the little experiment for quite some time. And now we're going to say that the petri dish or the beaker has exploded in their faces. So now their psyop is in their own hand, fork in the road in reverse. There is no other direction this can be taken. You can't go back in time. You can't undo what's been done. And what's been done, forced separations, but also has created new connections and showed people a new way of having life. When return to office orders started to happen, after people being told, you're not essential enough to come to work, you're not essential enough to pay. Oh, well, I guess the company still has to run, so we can make you work from home. Oh, but we can't handle you working from home because we can't control, whether or not you spend 5 minutes in the bathroom. You have to come back to the office. People have already had a taste of what it's like to be different. People have already had a taste of what it's like to have to work from home. People have already got a taste of what it's like to be forced into lockdown, aka incarceration. People have been kind of tempered to this kind of lifestyle, and being forced back into the old way isn't gonna work. You can't go backwards. You can't say, oh shit, you can't work from home now. It doesn't work for us. Like the office has to have an office. Oh wait, that corporate building is empty and people aren't driving to work, meaning they're not spending the gas, buying the cars, buying the coffees next door to the office, and the office building is no longer making its rent. So the corporate owners are no longer getting their money because you're not working for them. You see how that happens? Yeah. So now that the new taste of life has already happened and that people have seen that they can go in another direction, Three of Wands, seeing that they can go in another direction, there's no way of going backwards. You can't go backwards. You can't force. I'm going to say, what's a good way? You can't squeeze. You can't force juice back into a grape once it's been squeezed. Once you've created wine, it will never again be a cluster of sweet grapes. Never. Power. Once you have exerted your power, once you have given the power to the people, you're never going to get it back. People are starting to realize if they don't, then what happens? What if I just don't? What if I don't show up? What if I don't show up to the fight? What if I don't show up to work? What if I don't show up for life? What if I just don't? Wisdom in reverse. Nobody thought of that shit. The powers that be never, ever, never did they think that it would get that far, that people would be like, no, We're going to work from home forever now. For ourselves forever now. Because the office is unnecessary. You've proven the office is unnecessary, meaning the entity that's how we're all going into daily, that's siphoning the life out of us, that's part of the structure, that's part of the psyop, that's part of the big system, that's part of the world, and the way everything is done and the structure of it. Oh, you mean you've proven your own non-essential status? Look how that flipped. Ace of Pentacles in the reverse. That was not a tidbit of information. That was not something that anybody occurred or thought to think of. That was not a possibility. That was not going to happen. Oh no, they were going to take control over the world. World domination. How many times have you heard over the last 30 years the term New World Order? Stormy. Well, it's getting a little rough right now. Okay, there is a cyclone gonna rip that plan right out the ground at the root. Back to the Wizard of Oz. Just like the house getting ripped off at the foundations, everybody else is a human being. Their foundations, they were ripped off of it. Literally, the foundations have been destroyed. The connections have been destroyed. The structures have been destroyed. The stability has been destroyed. And now that people are doing a new life, a new way of being, because you can't go backwards. Okay. You can't go down a road or go back across a bridge that's been burned. Okay. And this energy that's rising up right now it's rooted in that. Look, like this was a forced situation. People were locked down. People were quarantined. People were medically isolated and treated like prisoners across the planet to cover up an investigation. Gratitude, a light. Look at that little light. We're supposed to be grateful that they didn't disrupt things even worse. We're supposed to be grateful that they tried to make the monopoly power move and lost the entire board. Meditate and growth. We're supposed to be grateful. We're supposed to stay peaceful. We're supposed to rebuild it all and help it all grow back. But the thing is, once you have demonstrated to people that the structures and the foundations and the powers that be don't have the power that they think, do you think that people are going to grow back the old appendage? Or are they going to build something completely new? Truth just flew out. Truth. You think people are going to rebuild the power back for the old dinosaur structure? Death in reverse. No, fuck no. This is unrecoverable. This is the final countdown. The Monopoly game's fucking over. Over. The Monopoly game is over. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Do not go directly to jail. Go directly to hell. Yes. This is what's going to be happening for all of the powers that be. I believe this PSYOP worldwide investigation has the evidence has been collected. The work has been done. The truth has been found, and now there has to be boots on the ground. I don't know why I'm calling it that. Cuckoo Pint. Sovereign boundaries. All right, this is the last card for the reading, you guys. So this Cuckoo Pint, sovereign boundaries. The energy is striking and restorative. It all has to crash in order to be rebuilt. Basically, this is a tower card. So the traditional and medicinal uses were mixed with honey and taken as a stimulant by those exhausted by sickness. And the metaphysical properties include balancing of masculine and feminine energies in ensuring harmonious relationships. The cuckoo pint has no boundaries in personal relationships. In romantic relationships, they want so much to make their partners happy that they lose themselves in the union and often get burned. Okay, this is where we are in a relationship with the powers that be and are like, yes, we'll work. Yes, just give us money. Yes, just let us buy the things we want. Yes, just let us live. We're giving and giving and giving, and the bubble's going to pop here. They have an access to they have an access all hours vibe about them and tend to attract takers. In friendship, cuckoo pint offers help even though they're exhausted and giving from an empty cup. They automatically say yes without thinking things through and always regret it when time comes to honor that yes. So the antidote, cuckoo pint is allowed to say no. Access to their precious energy should be treated like a golden ticket. No, we're not going back to the office. No, we're not going back to the way things used to be. No, we're not going backwards in humanity. No, we're not going backwards on an evolutionary split. No. They can praise setting some sovereign boundaries with others and learn not to overcommit their precious time. The next time they are asked for a favor, they can pause and reflect on whether it will be good for them or not and answer accordingly. The restorative nature of the cuckoo pint asks you to fill your own cup with delightful activities that make you happy and brighten your own light before you offer your valuable time and energy to others. I don't know how to say this. We're forced into a different way of doing things. And then when we find a way to thrive in a different way of doing things and be happy and be excited and be passionate about what we're doing, then they try and say, nope, back to the way things used to be right now. And everybody in collectively is going, fuck you, no. We're not going backwards. We're not going back to having to pay extra money. It costs me money to go to work. Every time I have to pay to park, every time I have to put gas in my car, every coffee I have to buy outside the house, every parking permit I have to pay, every single time that I have to pay a toll to cross a bridge, every single day that I have to put on work clothes that are professional, dry cleaning, buying lunch out instead of working from home. All of that costs money just to attend an office. It costs a person about an average of $100 a day to go to work where they don't even make that $100 a day. AKA, we're starting to realize it costs more to work than it doesn't. Like I believe the powers that be got greedy. The powers that be wanted it all for themselves. They didn't want anybody to have anything. It was all theirs. They were in control. They were dominating the world. They were going to be the leader of the fucking tri-state area like Dr. Doofenshmirtz. And they did not anticipate the minds, the hearts, and the mentality and the willpower of the masses. The intellect of the masses. Being able to see through the bullshit. Being able to carve out new ways of living for themselves out of their own personal passions, pursuing their own truths instead of being puppeted by the man behind the fucking curtain. They found their courage. They found their heart. They have found their willpower and their wisdom through a forced isolation. I don't know how to tell you this, folks. But this PSYOP, this 6-year anniversary of the COVID-19 quarantine lockdown today, it was an enforced awakening. If you were going to wake up, you did. And if you weren't meant to, you didn't. But the thing is, more people woke up than didn't. And the people that woke up aren't going backwards. And the people that woke up are young enough that they're going to be the ones in control soon. like I said, the old dinosaurs, they can stay in control as long as they've got the money, but as long as their hearts keep ticking, right? Nobody gets out of life alive. It's almost like that's how the game ends for every single person, no matter how much money you make during the Monopoly game. It's almost like the end prize for every single living, breathing being in existence. Any animal, any creature, anything. Anything that lives dies, including the dinosaurs. So, these old dinosaurs, oil barons, tech giants, medical, government, all of that. How does it feel to know your power is, I'm going to say it is dependent on your mortality. And your mortality is dependent on the Most High God. And I'm going to start saying, God doesn't like ugly. And anybody that's using the Most High's name to justify continuation of more control mechanisms, more governmental psyop, more fucking experiments on society, more controls, more laws, more red tape, all of it. Eventually, the bubble's going to pop, just like that watermelon I was talking about in the beginning. Every rubber band that you add, it's going to add more tension, more tension, more tension, more tension. And eventually, the rupture is going to be so explosive, so sudden, and so fucking messy. 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 It's going to be messy. Had to add that one last rubber band. Had to keep seeing how much we could squeeze out of society, how much we could squeeze out of humanity, how much we could squeeze, right? Well, no wheeze the juice. Isn't that something that Pauly Shore said in Encino Man? No wheeze the juice. Okay, folks? They're wheezing the juice, they're going to get the weasel. Okay? They're going to get the whistle. So, the Monopoly game is over. They failed to control humanity. They failed to take mental control over humanity. Give me one run on what's going to happen next. What's going to happen next now that the Monopoly game is over? Well, just like we started is how we finish, except the Empress is going to be in the upright instead of in the reverse. The overall energy for this reading was the Empress in reverse, and the ending energy is the Empress in the upright. So this is going to set a precedent on how to take care of society, not to manage society. Society doesn't need to be managed. It needs to be cared for, because when people don't feel cared for, they act an ass. When people don't feel cared for, they rebel. When people feel oppressed and put upon, they fight back. This is how we're going to fix the situation, by making people feel heard, welcome, cared for, and treating people with kindness and compassion. This is how we're going to create a whole new society here. That was like 12 cards, you guys. We've got the Page of Pentacles in the reverse. It's the only one out of all of them that came up in the upright. So I'll take that one. Put these on the top just in case. It's not going to be micromanagement. See this to-do list? That's in the reverse. The way to take care of things and the way to create is not to micromanage. We've got the Devil and then the Nine of Wands in the reverse. You cannot micromanage because that's obsessive control. That's oppression. And we are not going to make victims out of the people that we care about in the future. This is how we're going to fix society. Here's a radical fucking idea, you guys. Giving a shit about each other. Hey, you okay? I saw you fell down. Instead of, let me get out my phone and fucking laugh and make it a next reel. There is no kindness, compassion, care, concern, or connection in this society anymore. It's by design, and that's the only way to get it back. And not even get it back. Rebuild it the right way this time. 10 of Swords in the reverse. It's the only way to get it back in the right this time. In the upright. The 10 of Swords in the reverse is recovery, reconciliation, fixing things, restoring balance after a betrayal. So there is going to be, I'm seeing feminine female leadership with this Empress card. Restoring care, compassion, and general common courtesy to our systems, our communities, our classrooms. Because you can't micromanage and obsessively control people into levels of oppression. You can't do that. It's just a recipe for disaster. So in order to recover from that, you have to care. 3 of Pentacles in the reverse. You can't fight each other. When you got to work together, you got to learn how to work together instead of working against each other. 6 of Cups in the reverse. Leave the past in the past. Don't bring it up. Once you've settled something, settle it and leave it. 3 of Cups. Start having community gatherings. Start having celebrations. Start having your friends over. Start having all of that social distancing. Start having social gatherings. Okay? It's the opposite. It's the antidote to what they've instilled. 5 of Cups in the reverse. This is how we recover, folks. This is how we recover. Magician in reverse. By cutting the strings and not letting anybody manipulate you anymore. Not letting yourself be manipulated into not caring. Don't be swayed and lulled into apathy for your fellow human beings. This is why it's been so easy to create such a dichotomy to begin with, because we've been taught that we're opponents, we're on opposite teams, instead of, wait a minute, we're the United States of America, where I am recording from. We have never been more divided, never been pitted against each other harder. Okay? We're supposed to unite. That's where union comes in. Okay? The worst nightmare of those in power that wanted to run this monopoly game for entertainment purposes only, let me keep saying that, this international psyop. The only reason that they even did it was to try and take control over humanity as a whole. They've already eked all the money. They squeezed all the blood they can squeeze out of proverbial turnips. So next thing they were going to do was pit each other, or pit us against each other across the world. Team sports, team politics, teachers versus students instead of everybody in the school working together. There is nobody teaching morality. There's nobody teaching respect. There's nobody teaching common courtesy. There's nobody teaching care and compassion. It's been instilled in us to be individualistic. And while we can still pursue our own desires, our own wants, our own needs, we still have to function within a cohesive machine. There are so many parts to an engine that make a car run. Not everybody's going to be a piston. Not everybody's going to be a fucking spark plug. Not everybody's going to be a drive belt, okay? Some of y'all are going to be gaskets. You're just going to hold shit together and stop the leaks. Some of you are just going to be fuel. Some of you are going to be fluids that keep things really pumped up and moving smoothly. Keeping the gears turning, so to speak. Not everybody is the same part in the engine, in the giant cog of whatever humanity is. We all have our specific parts to play to make it function cohesively. And I think everybody can agree is that raping and eating babies and killing people and I don't know, just bombing people to distract from the fact that we're pedophiles and rapists is just not a plan, folks. Not a plan. It's a bad one. Bad move all the way together. And I think everybody in the world that has been playing team sports is going to realize there's only one side you can be on, right or wrong at this point. It doesn't matter where the fuck you live, what skin color you have, who you fuck, what your gender assignment is, what your political affiliation is. It doesn't matter whether you are rich, poor, black, white, fat, skinny, smart, stupid. It doesn't matter. Are you a good person or a bad person? Period. We're there, folks. We're there. Are you good or are you bad? Because if you're bad, then you side with the bad people. And if you're good, then you can no longer even pretend to side with the bad people, okay? You can't go like, la, 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 la. I don't see anything. I got my blinders on. No, you can't be doing this shit. You can't. This is not about a vote. This is about like Satanists, really, like actual people that are sacrificing human beings and eating them and hurting children in the name of the devil. And they're governing us and telling us that we are like supposed to continue and just not pay attention. La, 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 la. You see nothing. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Somebody needs to drop a house on the witch, okay? And that's all I got to say. I'm going to close the reading right there. Hope you guys have a great day. Remember, if I can manage to not be a piece of shit after everything I've been through, then so the fuck can all of you. Black Betty out.